Hey everybody, Game Capital here. We're going to do an update video for Nano Dimensions NNDM. Today's Wednesday, April 14th. Nano closed at 7.60, down 3 cents. Today, they had some news this last week, so I did the original Nano Dimensions video on Saturday. And on Monday and Tuesday of this week, ARK Investments bought quite a bit of shares. So Monday they bought 463,000 shares. Tuesday they bought 687,000 shares. So roughly 1.14. It's actually 1.15 million shares in 2 days. So they're loading up right now here in the upper sevens, low to upper sevens, right? So today's touched 7.26, but loading up here in the sevens on the week. So here's the weekly chart. I mentioned in that video we could sell off back down or continue selling off somewhere in between this 78.6 fib and 38.2 fib, and you see we did exactly that. So we sold off right down to the 38.2 fib. Buyers came in, pushed us back up, closed today basically right on that 78.6 fib, and we still do have the 50 weekly moving average as an area of support, which is sitting at right at $7 right now, 697. And that's what we bounced off at the beginning of March. So look to see if this area will hold for buyers. And if you're just looking here at weekly volume, so in 5 days of trading last week did 62 million shares, 63 million shares. This week already just 3 days trading, 46 million shares. So that basically projecting to have 75 million in volume, so an increase in volume on the week. So look to see if that increasing volume trend will hold up. So now we'll go down to the daily. You see here had pretty significant selling on Monday, got the inside bar yesterday, it sold off down to 200 EMA, gap up for Tuesday, formed the inside bar. I've talked a lot about my videos, inside bars. If we get an open, go higher than the high of the wick on the inside bar, look to go long. Alright, so that's been 774. Alright, we opened right about 772, and we'll see the action on the 5-minute chart here in a second. But we push higher, get above that 9 EMA, then basically run into the resistance from the prior week in the mid 18s, got up to 816, and then started selling off. You'll see here if we look at volume, I do have increasing volume above, right? So we're going to need a lot of volume to move higher going into the future. It's still sitting at less volume here in the mid sevens. A lot of volume right at $7. We're kind of in that little low volume area, right? So we got supply and demand zones above and below right now for NNDM, and obviously I think that looks somewhat differently here for the weekly, right? So weekly it's actually showing there's a ton of volume where we're sitting at, right, between the 7s and the 8s, and less above in the 8s into the 9s. So if we can reclaim the $8 area from a weekly standpoint, we got less volume in the 9s and 10s. So here we'll go to the 5-minute chart, look at price action. So pretty good takeoff out of the chute. Sold off first 5-minute candle, right? So got some profit taking. Basically used the double bottom off the 625 and the 200 EMA for the 5-minute. Get a push up. The 50, 22, the 9 essentially hold 7.7 level. Pushes up higher. Get up to 815. Sold off back to 22. Can't push back through that 805 level. And then basically we're riding down. And then second half of the day, as the market's turned lower, NNDM basically followed it down, right? So we sold off, got the bounce at 11 o'clock, right when the market did as well. Pushed up higher, can't reclaim that 22 moving average, which was the above acting as resistance prior, an hour and 15 minutes prior. Sold back down, and then sold right back to that 78.6 level in the final 10 minutes, and then buyers stepped up in the final 5 minutes, pushes back above, gets close to 7.6, and you see here after hours we are getting some positive price movement up to 7.7 after hours. So look to see if that will continue going forward. And then here we'll just look at the standard deviation channel. So it is something of interest to me lately. And you see here, kind of off the open, you know, we use that 200, basically consolidate back at that half DEV line, right? The dash line's half. Right here's the neutral point 0, neutral yellow. We got the 1. You know, push through the 1 on the second try, push right through the half mark, get up to the 2, and then, you know, the 2.5 zones act as resistance, so back down to the 1.5, retest of the 2, you know, 1.5 still consolidating around in there, and then the break of the 1.5 sends down to the half level, and then the 1 acting as resistance above sends down to the neutral level. So just kind of something to look at, you know, just something different as fibs, but you know, that fit pretty tightly today on that 5-minute chart. Not always the case, right? So every indicator is not a 100% deal. You know, there's probabilities involved with it. But we go here to the daily. You see one more time on the standard DEV, not much there. You know, we're close to this 1, so that could act as support below going forward. So that's what I got for you guys on NNDM. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know this was a highly requested video over the weekend, so let's talk about it. Let's know your plans for the future. Let me know you surprised by ARK's added shares. You know, I think they're probably going to keep loading up, but we'll have to see going forward.